Driven by your Southern California Honda dealers, Chris McGee, Robert Ory, James Worthy, Mike Bresnahan, Allie Clifton's going to join here in a minute. Mike Trudell will be handling the post-game duties, and we're going to get some sound tonight, hopefully. Where do I begin? Lakers lose in embarrassing fashion to Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's first win of the year. They were up 26 with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second quarter. At the end of the third, they were down 97-95. So they were outscored 53-25 in that span. They were up 41-19 after one, Rob. After one. From that point on, they were outscored by 30 points, 104-74.
You know, it's weird because when you watch this game and you watch the way the Lakers came out, they jumped on them from the beginning. And then all of a sudden, they started laughing, they started joking. They wasn't taking this team serious. You know, that's a professional basketball team. They might be young, but all those guys have pride. And next thing you know, they caught a little attitude. And that little attitude made them start moving the ball, start them attacking them. And by that time, the Lakers were comfortable. They caught them very comfortable. Next thing you know, they start punching them in the mouth. And the Lakers was like fiberglass, and they didn't know what to do after that. So you look at this game, and hopefully it's a learning point for the Lakers that you have to take each and every possession serious, because this is allegedly the worst team in basketball. You still have to go out and play this game every quarter like it's your last. And they didn't do that. They did it one quarter, then they thought the game was over.
One of you, when we were watching the game and saw it slipping away, made a great point. When you turn that focus off and you've already relaxed, it is hard, especially at this level, which you two have played in, to get it back.
Yeah, as an athlete, you're trained to conjure up energy and, you know, be focused in basketball for 48 minutes. And you have to finish the job, regardless of who you're playing. You cannot disrespect the worst team in the league. In fact, you make sure you put them away, and let them know that they don't have a chance. And I think the Lakers came out with that mentality, but I don't know what happened. They kind of just disrespected these young guys. And I heard Steve Kerr say the other day, they're capable of beating teams if you don't play your game. And I think this I don't know. I've seen a lot of Lakers losses. This might have been like the worst loss I've seen.
Because you're up 26, right?
It just sucked that they have this mentality that they can't finish games and they think that teams are going to just lay down for them. And they got to change that. This was really ugly. I don't have a whole lot to say. I'd put them on Greyhound and let them drive back to L.A. and think about it, because you cannot perform like that. You can't be a Laker and play like they did tonight. There's a lot of details, a lot of stuff, stats and all that, but that's a mindset, and they don't have it yet. And if they don't change some, and I know it's early in the season, people say they're going to get it together, but this wasn't one of those games. They should have won this game, and it's just the disrespect that they showed for Oklahoma by not being professional and finishing the job it's not Laker style. You know, they got to figure out. They got to figure out some stuff. The last shot by Monk, I don't know what that was. It was crazy.
Yeah, 2 airball threes in that final stanza there. Carmelo as well. I don't know where to start. I mean, James, definitely some words there. I appreciate what you said. You look at the Laker defense. It's been a problem really from the start of the season. This team was averaging 94.5 points a game. They had 97 going into the fourth quarter. So there's defensive breakdowns all along. This team was losing games by 18.5 points. This team was 0-4. When you're up 26, and granted you're down LeBron James, you have to still put the final touches on it. You have to keep this team down, and they failed to do that, especially in those middle 2 quarters. They really let this team back in the game. James, I've been covering this team for 18 years. I don't remember a loss this tragically, so to speak. I mean, when you're up this much, if you're up this much against, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Utah, okay, a team like that can come back on you, because those are solid fundamental teams. This team's average player is 23 years old. That's way too much inexperience to have a comeback like this.
You can look at the comparisons between the first half and the second half, and I sat in this seat at halftime, and I said it was the best offensive performance of the year to date. And I believe that. It was 72 points. They had shot 62% from the field. They were 50% from three, very efficient, not a high volume, 7 of 14. The ball was moving, 20 assists. You look at the second half, ball was sticking. Rob called it immediately. Just 9 assists, 4 of 21 from three, 38%, and just 43 points. But guys, for me, it still comes down to defensively. Not a lot of resistance, not a lot of closing out. To me, that's a lot of effort. Rob, I mean, you're all capable defenders. You're playing the youngest team in the league. You see it slipping away. If your offense is not clicking and you've gone cold, you can still do one thing, and that's defend. Correct?
Yeah, you can bear down and play good defense. And if you watch OKC's offense, it went simple. They simplified everything. They just did pick and roll, and they just drove, kick, and then the guy shot the ball, or he drove, kick, vice versa. It's so many things like that that happen in the game. And then you watch the Lakers offense, it was go to AD. AD squares up, holds the ball for 2 or 3 seconds, then tries to make a move while the defense is eyeballing you, looking at you, and then they collapse. And then our shooters were getting the ball too late to like shoot a good shot. And that's what you have to look at the offense, because offense sometimes leads to good defense. I know back when James and I played, it was defense led to offense, but this era is opposite. It's offense leads to defense, because when the Lakers were scoring, they were up defending. They were doing everything because they was feeling good about themselves. But once they stopped scoring, they started pointing fingers like, help me on defense, and doing things of that nature. So you really have to bear down. I think in a situation like that, every time they ran the pick and roll, because if you look at OKC, they're all the same size players. They should have just switched everything, got up in those guys. So you know what? You're not getting to the paint. You're going to shoot some outside shots that are contested.
And you got to give OKC credit for adjusting. They did a nice job offensively. Giddey had a season-high 10 assists. They had a season-high in points. Rob said they went to a simple pick and roll. They knew they could exploit the Lakers. And also defensively, they really packed it in. They weren't going to let Russ get downhill. And they forced the Lakers to really not attack James, because when you look at free throws, 29 for OKC, and it was 10 for the Lakers until that final minute. So it ended at 14, but that just kind of tells you where their mindset was offensively from about that second quarter on.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma, you know, I think they kind of figured out that the Lakers really weren't playing great defense. And to go along with that, they didn't really feel like they, you know, were respecting them at all, you know, just the way they were playing the game. I don't know, man. It was just pretty ugly. And I think the Lakers are going to have to really think about how they want to play. And, you know, to lose to Oklahoma after being up 26, not getting to the line, not moving the ball, not playing defense. I just don't know what to say, Brad. I'm kind of ready to go home and just forget about it. It was ugly.
Yeah.
I don't have much
the
to say
game
about
only
it.
in the A block too. You can't go home yet.
I mean, you know, I just think, you know, I mean, it was ugly. The whole from
Chair segment. Brez, what happened, or what did you see going down with the Russ situation kind of at the end of that game, final seconds? OKC gets the steal, the dunk.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a good throw by Rondo, or maybe he needed someone to come back and grab the ball. Miscommunication there, whatever it was. Baisley, a young kid. This team is very, very young. Grabbed the ball, still 5 seconds left. So he went, saw an open court, and went for the dunk. And Russ did not like it, not at all. Russ